Welcome back to the Roadshow. This morning in the Buzz, an unprecedented move by the Providence School District. It issues dismissal notices to all public school teachers in the capital city effective on the last day of school. That's nearly 2,000 people. Those notices were sent out in a letter by the superintendent, Tom Brady, to let those teachers know about potential changes in their employment status. Now, according to state law, teachers have to be notified of any changes by March 1st. Mayor Angel Tavares says the move is an effort to try to restore financial stability to the city, which is facing a $40 million deficit in the district. However, the full extent of those cuts has not yet been determined, meaning that some of the teachers, most likely most of them, may not lose their job. The action, though, is meant to give the city some flexibility on how to cut costs. However, the teachers union in Providence, not very happy. In a statement to the Providence Journal, union president Steve Smith said, quote, "Let's create the most chaos and the highest level of anxiety in a district where teachers are already under unbelievable stress. Now I know how the U.S. State Department felt on December 7, 1941. He's, of course, referring to the day that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. That seems a little extreme, that statement. But, first of all, let's talk about the measure itself. And do you think it's necessary to all of them?
No.
Well, first of all, Steve, calm down. That's a stretch.
Let's
not compare
it's
war
a little
to
disrespectful
teachers.
The first part of the quote I agree with, because he's saying,
Sure.
why even drum up all of this anxiety and all of this stress to half of the teachers, maybe even more than half, that really nothing's even going to happen.
Right.
But just the fact that they're receiving those pink slips, I mean, that's so hectic. And that causes so much stress for the family as a whole as well. Now you have to think about every aspect of your life being affected.
What do you think, Patrick?
Well, I think it is stressful. I agree. But guess what? Welcome to the party. We're all stressed out. I mean, who isn't? We're under constant job performance evaluation every day.
What do you think it's going to achieve, though, by saying a blanket, here you go, 2,000 pink slips handed out? What is that going to achieve financially?
I don't know yet, but apparently something's broken, and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And, I think, listen, my mom was a teacher, and I have the utmost respect for teachers. I think they have a tremendously hard job, sometimes thankless, and but they also have what's probably the most secure position in the history of employment, with tenure and keeping their job. I heard a story of my friend of mine whose wife is going to have a baby, and she has the option to take 2 years off if she wants and get her job back. And I'm like, well, you know what? Hey, that's a great plan. I wish we could all have that.
But you mentioned tenure, and now since everyone has a pink slip, so what? Your tenure doesn't even matter anymore? No. So I don't know how they're going to even...
Well, let's clarify, too, that that this is just sort of like, let's take they're kind of like erasing the chalkboard and laying it all out there, and not everyone's going to lose their job, and maybe nobody will. I mean,
well, and I do these stories every year where, normally it's, I want to say, if I remember right, it's normally about 900 of them are handed out. For some reason, I remember that number. So it's usually maybe about like half, I think. So it does seem sort of, maybe not historic, but definitely different that all of them are getting it this year, which just means that, times are tough, really.
The economy is tough, but how can you, skip on education? I mean, classes are full enough. You have a 25-to-1 ratio of students to teachers.
They're almost at max in a lot of classrooms.
Right. So how can you even think of taking that away or taking away education? I mean,
well, you know what though?
Can it be done in another place? That's
sure, but you know what too? A lot of kids want to go to college, and it costs $45,000 a year to go to college. That's another discussion for another time. That's a joke. If the amount of cost to go to college nowadays.
I guarantee we'll be buzzing about future developments on this one, because certainly it's not something that's going to be solved overnight. But Courtney, what are people saying on the live blog today about this very controversial issue here?
Yeah, they feel very strongly about it from whichever side they are representing today, but we're going to start on the live blog, and I have tons of comments on Facebook, so I do want to get to that. Jerry says the mayor is doing the right thing because I think the pensions are out of sight. And Joe says, I do think this is fair to those teachers that deserve to be let go, but the teachers that do their job and see good results with their students should stay. Here's the poll right on our homepage. Do you think issuing dismissal notices is necessary? Your choices are A, yes, if it helps restore the city budget. B, no, it's not fair to the teachers. So if you're on Facebook this morning, if you visited our page, you'll see pretty much paragraphs of what everybody has to say. And Sandra Alfaro says, I think every teacher should be evaluated to see how good of a teacher they are. If they're not able to keep up with new material and teaching skills, then they should be replaced. And she echoes that not all teachers are bad. And Harvey Emery says, we have to do something. Let's make the cuts, no matter how tough the cuts may seem. So you can weigh in a number of ways. We're still talking about it on the live blog, so you can join us now, and we'll be on that till the end of the show.